everybody, this is Mrs. Woram, and I'm ready to read to you Toby's story by W. Bruce Cameron. And yes, I do have permission to read this from Scholastic. We are currently on chapter 2, so let's get started. The next morning, I hurried over to examine the gap in the fence, ready to get out and run in the grass and maybe visit the chickens again and ignore that cat. But to my surprise, no matter how hard I pushed my nose against the wire, it would not budge. The gap was gone, and Walt's scent was painted all over the place. I had to be content with chasing Titus and Tabitha around our pen. That was fun, but not as much fun as running outside, where there was more room and more to smell. What would I get outside again? About the time our mother began to grow restless when we snuggled up to her and fed. Once or twice she even got up and moved away from us, leaving us yipping for more. On one of those days, Walt came to the pen with a bowl in each hand. Something in that bowl smelled exciting. It made my tail waggle. What am I talking about? Wag eagerly. When Walt set the bowls down, I dashed over to investigate on one of them. Inside was a soft brown mush. I stuck my nose in it and I sniffed hard. Then I had to sneeze and shake my head to get the brown blobs off my muzzle. Titus licked my face to help get it clean. My other brother and sisters were sniffling and licking that stuff in the bowl. I saw Tess bite at it. That seemed like a good idea. So I shook Titus off. I stuck my nose back into the bowl and I took a bite. It was awesome. Eating rather than drinking was a little strange at first, but the mush tasted so good. I did not want to stop. When the bowl was empty, there was a mush on my nose and feet and fur and on the grass beneath my paws. But there was some in my belly too. The next day, Walt brought more of that mush and we all knew what to do right away. And once the bowls were empty, he did something even more exciting. He opened the gate to our pen. We dashed outside, bumping into each other, eager to explore. Sometimes something about just waiting, like we were waiting for that grass. A black square sort of something with 4 wheels. It was not much bigger than we were, but it wasn't a puppy. What would be a black squarish with 4 wheels? Let's find out. Later, I learned that this kind of thing was called a car. Some cars are much bigger than others, just like some dogs are tiny and some are huge. This one was the small ones. I appreciated it and I sniffed it thoroughly. It was very strange smell. One I didn't recognize. It was not dirt or grass or water or fur or anything I've ever met before. Ready to chase the car? Walt said. I glanced at him. He was standing holding a little shiny black box with his hands. What did he want us to do? I would eat again, if that's what he was saying. Then, to my astonishment, the car moved. I was shocked. I was pretty sure it was not alive. It had no animal smell to it. So how could it move at all? I lunged forward and then I stopped. It did the same thing again. Then it decided what it wanted. It zoomed ahead, bumping over the grass. I barked at it. So did my litter mates. Then suddenly, I knew what we were supposed to do next. This thing, whatever it was running away. I had to chase it. That's what you do when things that run. You chase them. All of my brothers and sisters had the same idea. Barking and yipping, we raced over to the grass after the car. Walt stood nearby. He seemed to be interested in the car too because he kept pointing at the black box. But Walt didn't chase the car for some reason. That was the first hint that people don't always understand how to have fun. They need dogs to show them. I hoped that the cat was watching so she would know what to do next. The little car might not have been alive, but it still was very clever. It zipped and zoomed this way and that, turning sharply left or right just when one dog or another was about to catch it. Even our mother came out of the pen and joined in on the chase. How perfect, how amazing. There was wind in my face, bringing that remarkable smell to me, and all of my family was here. And we were chasing something that was running. There was only one problem. My feet had started to itch. An itch! An itch! I had to stop running to shake them. Then I dashed forward again for a few seconds, and then the cool grass felt good against my pads, and then that itching started up again, worse than ever. I had to sit down and nibble on one of my front feet. Then I had to flop down on my side so that I could get a back foot in my mouth and chew on it. The chewing helped the itching, but as soon as I stopped, it started up again. Ugh. I saw that the car had stopped moving. Tamara and Timothy barked at it while Tess climbed on it and fell off. I would have loved to join them, but I was too busy at the moment. Walt came over to sit down next to me. "Something wrong with your feet, little guy?" he said. "Did you get something stuck in them?" He picked me up and held me upside down so that he could look all over my feet. I didn't like being held this way, but I did like Walt, so I didn't try wiggling free. He said, "I don't see anything." He put me back down on the grass. The car had clearly not finished playing because it started moving, jerking forward again. I went back chasing it, but it was not as much fun as before because I had to keep stopping to gnaw at my feet, trying to get that itch to go away. That night, I lay with my mother and my brothers and my sisters, all warm and comfortable together. But I couldn't sleep, not for long. My feet itched so much that they burned. I kept squirming and waking up and even whimpering. Our poor little Toby. There's our picture. We don't have many of those in this book. Poor sweet puppy. What do you think's wrong? Why are his feet or his paws burning and itching? Do you think he's allergic to the grass? Do you think something happened? I couldn't understand how my brothers and sisters slept so soundly. Didn't their feet itch too? Walt would often let us out of the pen after that. Titus and Timothy and Tess and Tamara and Tabitha were always happy to run on the soft grass and bark at the chickens and sometimes tried to teach the car who was the boss. It never learned. I wanted to run with them. I wanted to be the one to teach that car its manners and bite a falling leaf or chase a beautiful butterfly. But I didn't always feel like it. My feet never stopped itching. Sometimes I could ignore it, but other times I couldn't. And I would have to lie down and chew on them to make things better. One day, while I was laying in our pen, nibbling at my front paws, some new people arrived. A man and a boy got out of a big car, not one of the kind that are good to chase, and walked over to us. Walt was with them. He opened up the gate and let my brothers and sisters out into the yard. The car was there waiting for them, and it zoomed ahead while they barked with excitement and tore after it, tails waving. I did not feel like chasing the car. I had not gotten much sleep the night before, since I had to keep waking up to chew on my feet. I was too tired to chase. I almost felt too tired to be happy. Are you making a connection with Toby? Are you feeling a little sorry for him right now? My mother came over and nudged me with her nose. I could smell and feel her concern. I licked her cheek, but it did not make my feet feel any better. "What's wrong with that one?" I heard the boy say. "I don't know," Walt said. He sounded puzzled. "He's not sick, as far as I can tell. He just doesn't seem all that lively." The man and the boy watched all my brothers and sisters chase the car. Tabitha stopped chasing and ran over to the boy to seize one of his shoelaces and wrestle with fiercely. The boy sat down in the grass laughing, and Tabitha jumped up to lick his face. "This one," the boy said to the father. "Think she'll make a good hunting dog?" the father asked. Walt chuckled. "Never seen a beagle yet that wasn't," he answered. "They all love to chase down anything that moves. It's bred into them." The man and Walt talked a little more, and then the boy scooped up Tabitha in his arms and held her snugly as they walked back toward their car. I lifted my head and I watched them go. My mother barked once and then sat down next to me. Tabitha was going with this boy, I realized. She would not be coming back. Must be difficult. I know we just got Skylar 2 years ago, and it was very hard to take her away from her parents and her siblings. My sister had been part of my family, but at that moment, I understood that things had changed. She belonged to a new family now. It was a little sad, but it was right too. Dogs belong with human families. Human families needed dogs. I couldn't help wondering whether this new family would have wanted me if I chased the car like Tabitha. The same thing happened again and again in the next few days. People drove up in big cars and watched as my brothers and sisters chased the little car through the grass. Sometimes I would leave my pen with them, but I didn't have the energy to chase them. It felt better to lie in the shade and nibble at my feet when they were itching got too bad. The new visitors talked with Walt, lots of them mentioning hunting, birds. They said, "I need a good bird dog," or "got to have one who can go after rabbits." Often they'd pick up a puppy and leave. A man and a woman had left with Tess. Walt came to sit next to me with a sigh. "I don't know what's going on with you, Toby," he said, rubbing behind my ears. "You're a cute little guy for sure, but nobody around here is going to pay for a beagle who doesn't want to hunt." Titus was next to go. Then Timothy left the family with the little 2 girls, and finally Tamara vanished in the arms of a tall, gaggly teenage boy. Walt waved goodbye to the boy who had taken Tamara, then came and put me back my pen with my mother. "Toby boy," he said. I could hear the sadness in his voice. "I can't even give you away for free. I would hate to take you to the shelter, but this is a working ranch, you know? Everyone here has a job. I can't afford to keep an animal who doesn't do something useful." I knew he was sad. I wish I could do something about it. I licked his hands, then I laid down on the patch of dirt with a sigh. I was tired. My mother came and nudged me with her nose. She walked a few steps away and looked back at me. I thought she wanted to do something. What was it? She came back to nudge me again, and this time ran away. Once again, she stopped and looked back. I knew what she wanted now. Every dog knows the signal for chase me. Was that what she was trying to tell me? That if I would only run, I could belong to a family too? But I was too busy to run just then. And all my back feet itched and burned. I needed to lick it and bite it as if the itch was an enemy I could drive away. I was fierce enough. I couldn't chase my mother. After a few moments, my mother returned to my side. She lay down next to me, curling her body around mine. It felt good, and I leaned into her. She licked the top of my head. I loved being with my mother. I loved her closeness and her smell and her warmth. But I knew deep down that I should belong to a human family, just like my brothers and sisters. What if they never found my human family? What if nobody wanted me? That's the conclusion today, third grade. Next up will be chapter 3. In the meantime, I want you to think about, how is Toby going to get a family? Do you have any suggestions of what he could be doing, or how to get rid of this? What are your thoughts? All right, friends, until next time, I'll see you back in our classroom, well, Google Classroom, on Monday. Bye-bye.